salutations, welcome to the Rant Squad. I am the Water Dog. This is
Good Jordan.
And this is and we are doing our fantasy standouts. That's right. We're going to tell you who's going to be doing all those great fantasy scores for you, man. Who are the players to be picking and putting in your starting lineup?
This is my favorite episode we do every week. This is where I can win in fantasy. Because I can't win anywhere else.
Right now, in the standings, Mr. Brendan, you got 20 points, followed by Clint with 13, and I'm now at the cellar dweller spot with 8.
Hey, I think we got to give Clint credit. He made up a lot of ground.
Well, yeah,
in this past week.
I think I was at 7 points last week. Yeah.
Yeah, you were at 7. I got no points.
You got a lot of points. But Clint did. He made up some ground.
Thank you. And I'd made even more had Jameer Gibbs just not, gone off. Saquon was number 2, but it's okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
All righty. So let's do it to it, brother. So, starting with you, Mr. Clinton, who's your IDP?
I looked at this, and I didn't initially take this until I saw the report that there will not be a change at quarterback for the New York Giants. So give me the guy that hasn't had the game this year. That's DJ. He's been so close. He's so there. Listen, the Giants gave up 8 sacks against the Philadelphia defense. And right now, I think the Steelers have a better defense than Philly. Maybe not a better pass rush, but they have a better overall defense. I think TJ Watt could end up with a pick 6. I think he's going to have at least 2 sacks this game. I love TJ Watt against the New York Giants.
That's a really good pick. I am going to go with Roquan Smith. That's simply because of all the changes that's going to take place in Cleveland. And the Ravens are playing the best football right now of anybody. If I had to say who's playing the best football in the NFL, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. So I think this could be a Roquan Smith
Hey,
game.
can we mention, welcome back, Nick Chubb, man. Just great to see after that hellacious injury last year. It was good to see him get in the end zone.
And he got that touchdown. That's right. Yeah. Brendan?
So this week, I'm going to go TJ Edwards against Washington. Ooh. Solely because, like I said, I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to play. And with Mariota, he looked good last week against Carolina, but this week I just kind of feel like it's going to be a little bit rougher against the Bears defense. That's the center of their defense, TJ Edwards. And so I think he's going to have a very big game. Possibly an interception from this quarterback, but I think definitely a lot of tackles if they start running the football.
Okay. Let's go now to the tight end position. Mr. Clinton, who you got?
I think this team's down to nobody else in the passing game. Give me George Kittle against the Dallas Cowboys. No, really. I mean, no Ayuk, no CMC. Debo, even if he plays, isn't going to be near 100%. Kittle, it's really funny. He had the really good year. He was tight end 2. He broke the record for receiving yards, and then Kelsey broke it a little bit later that afternoon. And Kittle's kind of been, he's had his huge games, but he hasn't been consistent since that year. And this year, he is playing like a man that's reborn. Reminds me of Derrick Henry. They're just both playing great. They're both number 1 at their position. I like Kittle, and that's who they're going to have to lean on if they want to beat Dallas.
Okay. I'm going to go with Trey McBride. I just think that's just going to be the game right there for the Cardinals. I think it's a game the Cardinals are going to win, and I do believe that they're going to air it out a little bit more. And since Marvin Harrison Jr.'s kind of disappeared, I think McBride's going to get more touches in the passing game, and so I'm going to take McBride in this one. Brendan, who you got?
Yes, I think George Kittle is a great pick in this one. I'm going to go Brock Bowers against Kansas City.
I like it.
And with no more Adams, I don't know if Desmond Ridder is going to start. I doubt it. But he was signed to the Raiders. I think this offense is going to start going through Brock Bowers for the rest of this season. I know they have Turner and I want to say Myers, but this is your biggest safety blanket. This is your best offensive weapon.
Oh, no doubt.
And so I think he is going to be the focus of this Raiders offense for the rest of the season.
I think he's the second best player on the team behind Max Crosby.
Yeah. And so give me Bowers against Kansas City.
I like it.
All righty, let's do it to it then. Running back, Clint.
I have a man that has only played 3 full games this year. But in 3 full games, he's gone over 25 points in standard scoring every time.
He's taking Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon. He played really well against Indy the first half. Hey, I like it, man. If we see more of the same, obviously no Nico had an effect. Joe Mixon, it's crazy. I think you look at 3 players at the running back, 4 players really, that they're rejuvenated. It's Saquon, because he's in Philly. It's Najee because he's in a contract here and they're winning. It's Derrick Henry because he's no longer playing against 10 in the box.
Yep.
And Joe Mixon, hey, the Cincinnati Bengals were going to cut this man.
Yep.
He feels not wanted, and he almost single-handedly won the game last week.
To me, Joe Mixon is crazy because I think he's a great pick for this game. I don't ever remember him in Cincinnati feeling this valuable.
Well, no, so he was great in Cincy. The problem was he wasn't consistent. He'd have the 40-point game, and then he'd have the dud.
Where he seemed like he was a good running back in Cincinnati. He comes to Houston, and if he plays every game this season, where is he at in the rankings? Because he plays great.
End of season rankings? I think right now.
If he would have played every game.
If he would have put, right now, if we were redrafting fantasy, I could see him being a top 6, top 7 pick at the running back position.
Yeah, because he's just on fire for the Houston Texans right now.
So that's my pick.
I haven't picked this player yet all season. I don't know why, but I haven't. But I'm going to go Derrick Henry. Simply because, once again, I think Cleveland is reeling. I think they're going to be going through a quarterback change. And typically speaking, this type of quarterback change, the team just does not function as well. And Cleveland hasn't functioned well really all year. And Henry's just been on fire. He's scoring a touchdown every game. He's on pace to break the rushing yardage record at the rate that he's going. And that's crazy in this era of football.
And 30 or 29, 30, something like that.
Yeah. So that's kind of where he's at. So I'm going to go Derrick Henry.
I think Derrick Henry is having an amazing season. We talked about it kind of earlier. They can't stack the box against him at Baltimore. They have to respect the pass game.
Because they've got legitimate weapons.
Well, and they got to keep a spy on Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry's a great pick every single week. And not only to say, this guy can just take a 75-yarder to the house.
He can. He's rejuvenated.
It's crazy.
He's gotten his speed back.
Brendan, who you got?
So I think Joe Mixon's a great pick. I think Derrick Henry's a great pick in this. I'm going to go with a guy who hasn't had kind of these past couple weeks really good. That's Jordan Mason against Dallas. I think the injuries, they have very limited offensive weapons in this game. But I also think it just feels like a Jordan Mason game over there in Dallas. I don't think Michael Parsons is going to play, but
How many screen passes?
if I had to guess,
Because you got to figure that's going to be part of the game for him this week.
6 to 7.
See, but I don't think he's the screen back. I think Isaac, whatever the backup's name is, I feel like he's more of the screen player.
The screen or check down, there'll be 10 of them. The screen or check down with Mason, I think the goal line, I just have a feeling if they win this game, which I picked the 49ers to win, Mason,
Is the reason?
I think he will be a very impactful reason. And I think it's hard to say running back one, because it could be George Kittle game. I think there is.
Well, no, this is what we're doing. We're picking who's going to be our running back.
I know. I think George Kittle could have a great game, but something just tells me Mason is going to be.
There's no reason they can't. Both.
All righty, let's do it to the wide receiver, Clint.
I'm going to go with a guy who has had, he hasn't had bad games the last 2 weeks. I think in standard scoring, I think he was 7 points 2 weeks ago, and I think it was about 70 yards, and I think this week he was 12 points because he caught a touchdown. But if pattern continues, every 3 games he explodes for over $150 and 2. That's Jamar Chase. He's going against a struggling Eagles secondary, who has looked a little better the last 2 weeks, but they've also played the Browns and the Giants. But getting your confidence does help. But I think Jamar. I think this is a Jamar Chase game.
Okay. Well, I'm going to double down on the Dallas Cowboys pick, and I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb. Because if they're going to do it, they're going to have a big game from CD. And so we have to see a big old 2-touchdown game for him. And so that's why I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb, simply because Cowboys got to have it. They're coming off a bye. He is their best weapon. They're going to put it up in the air because they can't run the football. CeeDee Lamb. Brandon, who you got?
So this pick really kills me. And I'm going to start by saying for 20-something years, the one thing you could count on the New England Patriots doing is taking your best player out of the game. Bill Belichick was the best at doing that. And this isn't Bill Belichick's Patriots anymore. I think it's very clear to see.
I think he called him soft.
Yeah, and so I think Devontae Adams, is going to have a really big game against the Patriots. I tossed on Garrett Wilson But I just feel Devontae Adams.
This is going to be the week.
This
first
is going
full
to be
week.
the week. It's against the Patriots. And I know they play guys, they play teams tough. But I got a feeling Aaron Rodgers, a little like, would it be 2 weeks? And this offense.
First full week.
Yeah, because Adams, I don't think really looked bad in the game against Pittsburgh.
No, Rodgers was forcing it to him.
But for how long he's been there. And so you give him another week, and give me Devontae Adams to be the number one wide receiver.
Well, seeing as I lost Chris Godwin in LEG, I'm going to have to start Devontae Adams. I hope you're right.
All right, let's do it to it. Last shot, quarterback. Clint?
I told you, my philosophy is you stack your quarterback and your wide receiver. Joe Burrow. He's my MVP this year. He's playing lights out. I think he's got 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The yards aren't there crazy, but it's because he hasn't needed them. Just like this past week, I think he only threw for about $150, but he got the 2 touchdowns. I think Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts, I think we're going to I really hope there's so much potential there to just have another Baltimore-Cincy game. Just huge. I want every piece you can get in this game. I wish it was the Sunday night game because I'm that excited to watch it. I might be watching that game over Houston this week on my second TV just because I'm so excited for this game.
All righty. Well, I'm doubling down on my prediction stuff once again. I'm taking Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, brother. Playing Houston Texans, I think it's going to be a Colts victory, and so I think if they're going to have the Colts going to have a victory, Anthony Richardson's going to have to do something special. So let's get a couple of rushing touchdowns along with a couple of touchdown passes, and let's do it to it. That's my guy. Brendan.
So, with this one, I'm just throwing a wild card out there. Because I just got a feeling on this. Give me Bo Nix against the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, I like it!
And I think Bo Nix has looked really good week after week. He just slowly.
He just hasn't had that big game.
Correct, and this is the moment
Because
against
you're playing
the
the Panthers.
But you even said earlier, you're going to pick whoever's playing against them.
So, hey, how many, speaking of the Panthers, how many more weeks y'all think we see Andy Dalton before they throw Bryce Young back in there? Because now we're starting to see you saw the first couple games. I was right when I said the Chicago game's going to be the start of the downfall, and it has been. It's been bad.
But the thing about it is that they're not running the football, and
What do you mean? Before this week, Chuba Hubbard was like the number 3 back in fantasy in the last 3 games.
What I am saying, they have not been running the football these last 2 games, not the way that they need to run the
Yes,
football.
just this last game. They did the last 3 before that.
All right.
I don't know. I think the Panthers are just kind of in a situation where they, to me, just play Bryce Young, arguably the first overall pick, and try again. A quarterback's not going to solve this team, but that's what every NFL team seems to do when they get the first overall pick in this kind of position. They're going to draft a quarterback, so I just think they're going to ride it. They'll get the first pick.
Fire the coach, start over coaching quarterback.
Yeah.
Can't win with all that turnover. They've had way too much turnover. It's just, it's just one of those things. When the team has that much turnover, it's hard to have consistency. It's one of the reasons why the Jets are floundering. One of the reasons why the Jets are floundering is there's just so much turnover. You don't stick with anything. You don't ride it out.
Well, I didn't think the Panthers gave a fair shake to Frank Reich. He only got 8 games last year.
No, and
How bad that roster was, he should have got the whole
They
season.
had a horrible. That's why I blame Bryce Young really on everything, because that team is bad.
Yes.
I think that team is bad. They turn over coaches, and it's just. I'm not saying Bryce Young would be a great player on another team, but I don't think to give him all the blame for the dumpster fire that franchise is wrong.
Okay, could this just get it out there? Call your shot. Could this be a Sam Darnold? In 5 years, he's on a second or third different team. He got to back up a good quarterback or a good coach, and he's a starter in the league.
Yeah, I think he very much can be. I watched him at Alabama when he was there. He was a really good quarterback, but. There's very few quarterbacks that can go to a garbage team and make them good.
It's true. Joe Burrow and C.J. Stroud. That's all I can think of the last few years.
You could say that Alabama's stacked, and they are. Right? But you put him on a team with 1 or 2 weapons, I think this is a different story. But in Carolina, he's never going to be successful.
All right, brother. That's all we got time for, man. We've been the Rant Squad. I'm the Water Dog. This is.
Clint Jordan.
And this is.
Bernard,
And we out of here.